Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by ACD&B, who are a branding and creative design agency based in Farsley, Leeds. They create standout brands, so any companies out there that need a brand new logo or a brand refresh, just get in touch with ACD&B. Thank you, as always, to them for sponsoring us on the podcast and designing, producing the Lot 17A fanzine. This is the mailbag off of Leeds losing narrowly to St Helens. Joining me as always, my right-hand man, my co-host, but our amazing stats man. It is Statman Reese.
I'm a stat.
Freeze.
How are you, Reese?
I'm good. It's been an interesting 24 hours on Twitter, I think.
Played my part.
I should really be asking how you are because
I've played my part.
you've been fishing, my friend.
I just dropped the grenade and run away, to be honest. The notifications on the Lot Pod account, the Lot 17A account, they're not on. They've been off for years. So I just dropped the grenade, run away, and then just check back in every hour or so. Go, yeah. But I've done my part. For those that aren't aware, I think we've got a question on it later.
We do have a question on it later.
We will talk about it then. But the biggest news and the reason why we are live for the first live mailbag of the season, we don't tend to do these live anymore. Me and Reese and guests record them, but we are live for this special mailbag. Why, Reese?
Because we have filled the entries for the Magic Weekend jersey raffle. We had, I think, 64 of the 100 slots filled by Sunday. And then we had a very special push on Monday, which sold out the rest of the tickets in about an hour, which was absolutely fantastic. And also upgraded the raffle as well.
It did. It quickly became a signed shirt, which was
yes.
Very...
I won't let you into the secret of how it became a signed shirt because it wasn't originally, but we managed to resolve that, and it is now a signed shirt. But yeah, obviously we had the video from the Lord and Saviour, that is Sir Kevin Sinfield, doing a little promo for us, and even mentioning the Lot Pod, which now means Kevin Sinfield knows about the Lot Pod.
Yeah, that's canon now. That's real. That's factual. Kevin Sinfield knows the Lot Pod.
It's factual because I've watched it about 50 times going, he did say Lot Pod.
He did say the Lot Pod, which was it was quite remarkable. How did that come about, Reese? How has Kevin Sinfield done a video for us?
I can take no credit, and nor can you. The entire credit goes to our man on the ground with his suntan lotion in his pocket. It goes down to Mr. Loiner's View, Laurie himself, who in his 90-second slot of the book signing, which he weren't meant to be asking other things or ask for other things, Laurie did. We got in touch with Phil Daly afterwards at Leeds Rhinos, who's also sorted it out for us. So it's a massive thank you to Leeds Rhinos, massive thank you to Phil Daly, massive thank you to Laurie, and then also to Kevin Sinfield.
Yes, thank you to all three of those people. And I have to admit, Laurie is a man of his word. He doesn't in so much promise anything. He says, I will try. But he said for me, for the podcast previously, that he was going to Bradford and there was a possibility that he would speak to Kevin. And guess what? He did. And he uploaded the video to Loiner's View of mentioning the Lot Pod. And the same thing happened with Reese's magic shirt. So Laurie can work his magic. So yeah, and a massive thank you to Phil Daly as well and to Kevin. We are going to reveal the winner on this podcast at the end of the show, aren't we, Reese?
Yes, we're going to do it at the end. So we're going to make you lot listen and watch us if you're on YouTube for the next maybe 45 minutes,
5
an hour,
hours.
and then we'll do it at the end. We've brought the Wheel of Fortune back from the Magic Weekend
Yeah, I love
tickets.
that.
So
But we're not going to mention John Leslie because that.
no, because that would be inappropriate and illegal, as we found out after.
we almost got lynched for talking about Gary Lineker once. There's no way
We
we're
did.
talking about John Leslie
Yeah.
and Philip Schofield. No
Yeah.
chance. You must be joking. We almost had a hate mob for us about Gary Lineker a couple of months back.
God, yeah. Anyway.
So, anyway, for those, if you're new listening to this, welcome. This is our Mailbag podcast. We are predominantly a Leeds Rhinos podcast. We review Leeds Rhinos games. We have ex-Leeds Rhinos players. We have current Leeds Rhinos players. We have Leeds Rhinos women's players, wheelchair players, everything Leeds Rhinos usually. But this is our Any Other Business podcast where we ask our followers on social media, our viewers, our listeners to send in their questions, their thoughts, their queries. They don't have to be about Leeds Rhinos or rugby league specifically. They can be about anything, which you are about to find out. If you want to get in touch for the next mailbag, this is how you do it. You can follow us on Twitter at Lot17A or the Lot Pod, or at the Owl and Fleece. That is Statman Reese's amazing Twitter page. Well worth a follow because Reese uploads his Stats of the Week tweet, which gives all the details for all Leeds Rhinos fans. But Reese is also pretty much unofficially, soon to be, the official stat man for the whole of Super League. So Reese is well worth a follow. So you can get in touch with us via those two channels on social media, either via DM or comment, or you can email lot17a@outlook.com. The following people did that. And the first question this week, do you want to start, Reese?
Yeah, well, might as well get the Leeds United question out of the way, eh?
We have to.
It's
Everyone,
from
take
Connor.
a deep breath.
Leeds relegated. What a mess. What did you think to our season?
Do you want to go first, Reese?
Oh, I can sum it up in one word and just shite.
So, the next question.
Yeah. And what I mean, I wasn't going to talk about this much, but then Rajazani's released a statement, hasn't he, this afternoon? Not by the official Leeds one. It's obviously not him. It's just a chat GPT thing from ACER Group, but not associated with the club at all. It's a bit strange, but it sounds like he's in it to stay, which I really don't want.
No.
So yeah, mess of a season. It's. I agreed with getting rid of Bielsa at the time, but all the decisions that followed that were just poor, absolutely poor.
Yeah,
shocking.
No fight.
The opposite of what we saw on Friday. In that, every single player in that blue and amber on Friday gave everything. In the running of this season, those players just weren't fit to wear that Leeds United shirt.
No, and thankfully, the highest majority of them will leave us. I don't know who's going to sign them, but they will leave us. Some poor clubs abroad will take them on, and you know they are diabolical. But my biggest fear is not bouncing back up within 2 years, because then I think we'll really suffer. But the biggest signing the club will make, probably since Bielsa again, is the manager. That's going to set the standard. That's going to say, right, if it is Sam Allardyce, forget it. We are going to suffer. If it is Rafael Benitez, again, these aren't the people that are going to get this club back into the Premier League. If it's someone like, I can't even think of a name. If it's someone,
Brendan Rodgers is the one that keeps going.
Oh
around.
wow, yeah, exactly. If it's Brendan Rodgers, and goes, wow, that's outstanding. That's the type of pedigree manager we want. But I think the signing of the manager will set the tone for the not just for the fans and how we feel, but for the whole club. It's one of the biggest, possibly since Bielsa. I mean, it's so key now that they get this right. And do you trust them?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. God almighty. First question about United.
It's all positive from here now, though. It's fine.
God for that. Next question from David. If you could choose our next third kit design, what design and colours, etc., would you choose? I really like black and blue stripes, like Inter Milan. I think an Inter Milan themed. Are you wearing an Inter Milan shirt?
No, it's not. This is meant to be. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. I've tried to change it. This is a Fenerbahce shirt. So if you replace the yellow with This is yellow, by the way.
Yes.
If you replace that yellow with black, it would be like that. Although I've just realised this Fenerbahce shirt is pretty much like that Warrington kit that one year. Remember when they had the blue and yellow stripes? I've only just realised that on here.
Reese has converted to a Warrington fan.
So you'd want the Inter Milan kit as
Inter Milan, so the black and blue Inter Milan downward vertical stripes, but Leeds Rhinos, I think that would look amazing. What do you think?
I would like. It depends on what the home and away kit is. I'm a massive fan of a white kit. I love a Rhinos white kit, but I think for your third kit, it's got to be something different.
Before you say anything, tread carefully because your words go right to the top, as we've seen with this Doddy Weir magic shirt.
That's true.
Oxford have got a pen now.
I would want I want 5% next time.
Someone at Oxford, mark this down.
I would want to bring the maroon back. You know, we did the maroon in 2018, which I wore that Friday actually with the maroon and the dark blue.
You did, yes.
I really liked the 2000 kit, which have now released on the retro, which is the maroon with the black bit across. So I would like a maroon kit with some sort of blue in there, some dark blue again. Maybe just a simple, maybe like the blue and amber, but the amber being the blue and the blue being the maroon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll go for that.
Coincidentally, we did promise to show the kits that everyone very kindly sent in as designs to us. We haven't had time to get through those yet. We will do it on the next mailbag. I promise. Cross my heart, hope to die. We'll do it on the next mailbag. We'll bring them all up and we'll have a guest with us and we'll review them and choose a winner on the next mailbag, I promise.
Next question is from Dino. There is no particular order in which we do these. We literally just go through the list.
No, we just jump through them.
Dino's question is, so difficult to see Newman get injured again. What do we do with him?
What do we do with him? We cuddle him. We help him. We assist him. We offer him all, again, the same things, all the support he needs. I can't speak about it. I still struggle. People have tried to speak to me this week and I don't know what to say. I'm speechless that it's happened to him once more. And like I said on the match review, I'm heartbroken, genuinely heartbroken. I don't want this to happen to anyone, to any player, but to see Harry go through it again, it's. But in terms of what we do with him, what we've always done, we nurse him back, we bring him back, and we pray like we have previously. It never happens again.
I think that's the thing, is that if you're going to, not that you choose, but if you wanted one player just to avoid having a nasty injury this season, I think Newman would have been the first player on everyone's list because he's had such a bad record of it, and it has affected his development in proving that he is a world-class and best player in Super League, because people that just go back and say, well, he can't put a string of more than 10 games together. I mean, that was probably one of his longest stints he's done so far this year. One thing I will always admire Newman for, that he doesn't seem to knock his confidence.
No.
Some players, when they have those injuries, they come back and they're a bit tentative, whereas Harry never seems, and that's something I'll never worry about Harry. He will come out all guns blazing. But the club have just got to look after him. He's still young. He still has that potential. He can still reach that world-class height. Just need to look after him. If anything, it sounds a bit bad. It actually might work in our favour a bit, because if Harry plays a full season and is injury-free and lights up the world, more people come knocking on his door. So it's maybe a bit of a catch-22. But look after him, and we'll see what happens.
I agree with you as well. Every time he has come back, he has looked better. Now, I don't know if that's because he's so good that he injects so much. Kind of like what we said when he came back this year. Was it Wakefield at home?
Yeah.
And it was kind of a drab game. But we said on the review at the time, like, we knew that when Harry came on, he was going to score and change the game. And so I don't know. He obviously comes back better, and it just adds. And he kind of looks more, as in that his frame looks better. He had broader shoulders, looked like he'd worked on all his upper body strength. But we just have to look after him, Dino, and just pray that the next time he takes the field, it's for a longer period of time. But players like Callum Watkins and Ben Curry, who have had lots of injuries earlier in their careers, I'm kind of hoping still that's the same for Harry. Frankie says, are there any more special guests coming onto the podcast? I really enjoyed the Fran Goldthorpe appearing. Hope she plays well out in the NRL. She has gone now out to Australia, I believe. So I think everyone listening to this wishes Fran well. Are there any more special guests coming onto the podcast? We have spoken to a few.
Yep.
But
We've
nothing.
got an agreement with one that we need to follow up on. But yeah, we're hoping to have a couple more. And to be fair, Fran also said she would come back on, 6-7 months down the line when she's done the NRL season to do it. And the Gold Coast Titans. Is it Gold Coast Titans she's gone to? No. Queensland Cowboys, wasn't it? Yeah. They've offered to fly us out actually to do that interview as well with the Cowboys. So
it's very kind of them to fly us out there. So thank you to the Cowboys. Yeah, we're gonna can Fran very kindly see what happened there. We kind of said to her, we would love to catch up with you when you've been out in Oz for 3, 4, 5, 6 months just to kind of see how you're doing and how you're progressing. And she said, yeah, let's do it. So great. And so nice of the Cowboys to fly us out there as well, Reece.
Yeah.
And first class.
First class, yeah. Chris will pay for it, don't worry. Laura Marsh's next question saying, do you listen, eat, drink, or do something before the Rhinos game, like a pre-match ritual? Maybe lucky socks, perhaps.
No, not really. Kind of did for grand final.
You did for the grand final, didn't you?
Yeah, but I felt weird doing it at the grand final because it felt, I think I said at the time, although I did do my usual grand final ritual, it felt like a golden generation ritual grand final. I feel like I needed, and now blaming myself and everyone else can feel free that because I did that ritual, we lost the grand final. Do you have any particular thing you do on match day, any rituals, Reece? Or
last year I used to park in the student housing and walk through the back-to-back bit and have a drink and then walk round. But I now park at Taps because you go there and Laurie's there. So the pre-match ritual now is get to Taps about an hour before kickoff, say hello to you, say hello to Laurie, and then head into the stadium. I always stand in the same bit in the south stands. That's something that I'll always do.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of people listening to this who stand in the same spot.
It's our spot. That's where we go, and I like that spot. But no, I don't really. It's probably just that routine of going to the Taps and looking at the lineup with you, going, "Yeah, we'll be fine tonight."
Yeah, we'll win by 50.
Yeah,
there's Eddie. I do listen to Spotify in the car on the way to games, and I think I've mentioned this before as well, Laura. But if we've won or played well, whatever I listen to it again. So we played we lost, but we did play well. And I'll listen to Example. Do you remember Example?
God, yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. He had like a window between, I don't know, 2012, 2014, where he had a couple of half decent hits. I listened to pretty much Example's greatest hits on the way to the game. So I think that'll be the routine before the Magic game, Laura. But I used to be a lot worse in terms of routine and things, but I think you can drive yourself a bit mad with OCD if you constantly like, I must do this or everyone will die. Like, so I snapped out of it.
On that
note, was it me?
Mogs asked, or said, sorry. Or is it you? I can't remember. Oh, it is you. Sorry.
Go for it. It's all right.
Right. Moa said, I felt so impressed and proud on Friday night. I agree with Eddie when we said that performance should prove the Smith doubters he can get this Leeds side to perform to a high standard. Hopefully the injuries suffered aren't too bad and we actually have some players available for the upcoming games, as I feel we could have some momentum off the back of that performance despite the defeat.
Agreed. It's pretty much what we said on the match view, isn't it, Reece? It's that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't heard about the injuries yet, which I find a bit strange. We couldn't to Wednesday. I know there was the bank holiday, and which might have delayed any scans for Gannon, Caesar, and Newman. But we haven't heard anything yet. And I'm assuming the squad will get announced tomorrow, won't it? So we will know more. We're not expecting Newman or Gannon to play, are we? So no. But yeah, I think it's completely right. I mean, the way we played on Friday was awesome. Incredibly proud. And I think you're right. You were right about improving the Smith doubt was wrong. But only they can control that momentum now. They control what that momentum looks like.
Yes.
So they have to start exactly as they finished that game on Friday night.
I feel those who perhaps doubted prior to this game or even afterwards, however we'd perform after this performance, I think we need to keep this Saints performance in our memory bank. We need, because this is what I'm gonna, now that I've seen them perform this way, that I know they've got it in them, if that makes sense.
Mm.
But throughout the next match reviews, and I may bring it up on more than one occasion while I kind of say we have to think of that Saints game. It's in there and it's in the players. It's up to Rowan and the coaching team and the players themselves to unlock that. And now I kind of said, I can't remember the Blake Austin. There was the Blake Austin game this year. Was it Catalan at home when he was awesome?
Stone Cold Austin, yeah.
Stone Cold Blake Austin. And I kind of said then that, and I kind of asked on that match review, that performance was a perfect 10 out of 10. It was unbelievable. And I kind of said off the back of that performance from Austin, it's impossible for him to play like that way every week. You can't. No one can. Not James Tedesco, not Nathan Cleary. No one can play 10 out of 10 every single week. You might get a run of 2 games max. Might fall off that to a 7, 8 or a 9, but you cannot have a perfect, in any sport, you can't have a perfect game every week. To me, again, even though we lost on Friday, that was almost a perfect performance. So for us to kind of unlock that every week, I think would be unrealistic. But we do know that they've got that in them, if that makes sense. Paul Rhino, here we go. Hold your breath, everybody. We're on to the real nitty-gritty off the back of the Saints game. Paul Rhino says, James McDonald gets a 2-game ban. Paul submitted this question prior to the news that we heard yesterday as we record this. Paul Rhino says, James McDonald gets a 2-game ban. Matautia gets a fine for one of the most dangerous and disgusting tackles a player can do. And with such malice, it just does not make sense. Just on Matautia, Reese, how, Reese, how? What? How are they?
That, as I said on the match review, that was worse than Morgan Knowles.
Yeah,
was that in the whereas Knowles was lazy, at least he was making a genuine tackle in the way. Aledzki's about the ref's about to call held. It's just a needless. The only purpose of doing that tackle is to hurt someone. And I don't know if you can look at what the previous records are for players. I think you can. But Matauti's got previous. And I think people are saying, well, it should have been, because it's above the knee. I don't care if it's above the knee or not.
Cover your ears, George. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I do not.
So, yeah, that was worse than Morgan Knowles. And Morgan Knowles got 2 games, didn't he? So Matauti should have been getting at least 2-3 games of that, especially with his record into account. But I was more angry at that than I was at McDonald, to be honest, getting banned, because I kind of expected McDonald to get banned.
Yeah. Anyway, we kind of said he's definitely getting banned. I think we're more gobsmacked that what happened. What I can't understand about that disgusting Matautia challenge, was it on Aledzki?
On Aledzki, yeah.
Aledzki. It doesn't really matter who it was on. Is that in sport, team sport, contact team sport, there's that, especially rugby union, rugby league, NFL, anything where you really bodies on the line and bodies hitting each other. Excuse me. It's that kind of looking after each other in a sense, in that tackle's disgusting. And like Reece says, that he wants to break his leg for me. He wants to ruin his career. He wants to ruin his season. And almost at the end of the game, like going over and shaking his hand or fucking up, sorry, George, apologising. What does he do after? Because if I'm a Aledzki or any player that gets attacked, I'm livid. And I'm kind of grabbing hold of him and I'm saying, what are you playing at? What are you doing? I've reached this. This is something I've wanted to do my whole life. I've reached this level, playing for a local side. I want to play this for as long as I can. Because you have to take into consideration the biggest majority of rugby league players, when they retire, they're going to have to work. I don't think there'll be many of them that don't, unless they're smart, So if someone does wipe you out for your career, That's the kind of tackle that does that. People might say, "Oh, Eddie, you're going way over the top here." I don't think I am. You catch someone right with that kind of tackle, you're putting their career, their rugby league career, on the line, and I just think it's disgusting. I think it's deplorable that. Again, it's that thing of, you're saying it because you're a Leeds fan. If it was a Leeds player, I'd say the same thing. Just as I've lambasted James Bentley before for his stupid high tackles. We've spoken about the petulance of players on this podcast, and I don't need to mention Zayn Tavano's name and the disgust I've had at his Leeds career. If it was a Leeds player, I'd be saying the same thing. I just cannot believe that the match review panel have reviewed that and said he's guilty because he's definitely guilty because they said he's guilty and he's getting a fine. So if he's guilty, they're saying he's done it. So how can they look at it and say that's just a fine? I can't.
I'm looking at the Super League website right now, and in true fashion, it's RFL. It's an absolute mess in terms of trying to find previous charges. But he has been charged twice already this year for a late contact on the passer on the 3rd of March against Leeds, where he got a 2-match penalty notice, and he also got another fine on the 7th of April for a late contact on passer. So he's already got 2 charges this year. So I don't understand why that previous record's not been taken into account, to be honest. I think there's a 3rd as well, but the website is absolutely pants, so it's not.
Do you think, right, because we live in a world now where the internet and websites and apps, they are the world, it's how we navigate our work life. It's how we navigate life. It's just a fact. I genuinely believe, and again, you can call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think the RFL have that website so bad that people won't navigate it.
I just think they're that bad. I'm sorry. I don't think they're that clever, because that brings me on to the McDonald thing, right? Because with the McDonald thing, they know that Leeds are going to appeal that decision.
Yeah.
They know from the footage that there is no punch. So why not just make the respected decision and say, we got this wrong, instead of making yourselves look like a dick and having to backtrack and obviously go through the appeal process. And that comes down to that thing. It's just incompetence. That I would actually much rather them say, I'd actually would applaud them to come out and say, we got this wrong. There is no charge.
Yeah.
But they knew we would appeal, and they knew that we'd win the appeal because there was no footage of us, of the actual punch happening. And the fact that there was footage of Lomax with blood on his shirt minutes before that incident even took place.
I cannot stand Johnny Lomax. I also think the RFL felt we would bottle it as well. I think, was it 2 appeals last year that were frivolous for us?
Yeah, but we've got a new team manager now, haven't we? And general manager, maybe that's helped us
possibly
in that instance. But yeah, I was full on expecting a frivolous appeal and getting extended, to be honest.
Yeah. But now, I mean, well, we've got a question. Honey, it's not a question. We'll just jump to the bottom since it's on a similar theme. Honey says, is Lomax the biggest cheating rat ever? Discuss kind of on Lomax and what he's done. And again, we kind of spoke about this on the match review panel for the game as well, is now that there's no punches, which there isn't any. In fact, to be fair, the only punch I can kind of say, I think it's Sirinen on someone. That's just a fact. People can watch. I can't say any Leeds players. Someone could point one out to me. It's fine. I'll hold my hands up. And the fact that Lomax says, are we not? He says to Liam Moore, are we not getting anything?
What about the punches or something?
What about the punches? Do you not do anything for punches anymore? So the RFL are now aware that they, if I got this right, they banned James McDonald for a punch. That never happened. So he was sent off. He was banned 2 games. We then appealed it, and then they've admitted there was no punches. So to me, have the RFL even viewed that Sky footage prior to banning James McDonald?
I don't know. They'd have gone on the referee's report, wouldn't they? But again, you should be looking at it because there's other things that the referees don't report that they look at and spot in the game. I mean, the actual... If you read the minutes for the St. Helens Leeds game, it's bloody long. There's so many on there for that game. So they must have to watch the game, or the people will be watching the game to see it. So Yeah, it's just daft. I mean, is Lomax the biggest rat ever? I don't think he's the biggest rat ever. He's certainly up there.
I do feel this St Helens team are one of the grubbiest. They are one of the most unlikable.
I think so, with the discipline and some of the tackle techniques that we saw. But at the same time, do you know what I've really, really enjoyed in the last 4 or 5 days? Just that rivalry back again. You know,
Yeah.
it's been quite good to have that Leeds Saints thing back.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we're being a bit more competitive against them, because we've only won one game in the last 10 against them.
Yeah.
So it's
Quite
I'm
pathetic.
just quite enjoying that the rivalry and that that intensity is back between the two sides and the fan bases. I kind of enjoying it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable. It's nice to see. And then when we do play them again in playoffs and we beat them, that game's going to be really tasty. It's going to, from the 2 games I've had this year, you know, with the what's the controversy over Walters and that hit. And did they get 1 man sent off? 2? Hurrell got sent off.
Horrell got sent off, and then had Sirenin got a yellow card.
Sirenin and Matauti, was it? And then all the drama off Lomax and McDonald and everything this year. That 3rd game in the playoffs when we beat them, that's going to be a real barnstormer. Just on this St Helens side and how unlikable they are, it summed up by the grand final. When they beat us in the grand final, 4 in a row, you had them idiots make us in a running to the Leeds fans, and you think, what are you doing, you moron? Go on.
Celebrate
with your own fans. We don't care. Don't give a cover your ears, George. We don't give a shit. Is it my turn?
Yeah, we're on to Julia's question.
Julia, state of origin today as we record this. First one, no spoilers, I don't think. Although I'm going to assume everyone's watched it because it's 8:30 on an evening. Julia says, predictions for origin. And Julia says she reckons Queensland are going to win 3-0. Reese, are you an origin fan? Have you got a prediction?
I'm an Origin fan, but the problem is I need to start scheduling my work from home days on better days so that I can watch this.
You can actually watch it.
So I can actually watch the full thing, because I only watched the second half. I'm on lunch break today. I'm a fan of the game. I haven't really chosen a team yet. I kind of want to choose Queensland just to annoy Duncan a bit. But I think Josh put it perfectly in a conversation we had earlier with him, which was, if Queensland win the first game, he reckons there'll be a series wipe. And I think after today, I think they will do. I think Queensland are the better team. So I think now that Queensland won that first game, I think Julia's right. I think it'll be 3-0.
So Julia thinks 3-0. Josh thinks 3-0. Reese thinks 3-0. But what do I think? I did kind of say previously that Queensland didn't choose Kalen Ponga, and I felt like they were holding him back due to his concussions and kind of easing him in. And I kind of said in our group chat that they'd parachute him in. I thought it'd go to a decider. So I thought it'd obviously be 1-1, then go to the 3rd game. I still believe that's going to happen. Still believe that. It's going to go to a decider. Queensland will parachute Ponga in and he'll win them the game. But I mean, for anyone that's never watched State of Origin games, if you can, or
I mean, the intensity is insane, isn't it? I mean, there was, within the first 3 minutes, there was a right good old scrap, and it was just the intent. What I love about it is a lot of these players either play on the same side at Manly or whatever, or Brisbane, and they're good mates. But like the flick of a switch, the intensity of that game in terms of wearing maroon or wearing blue is so good.
It is.
Awesome. It is the pinnacle of rugby league.
So if no one's watched it or gone, I'm not bothered because it's 2 Australian sides. You just watch one of them or watch the highlights from one of them, and you'll just see. It's awesome.
I mean, that third game from last year was probably one of the best games in rugby in Ivor Code, and there was people in Rugby Union that were commenting, going, "Jesus Christ," and how good it was.
Remarkable, absolutely remarkable. My only issue is that when it's played, it's just not. It's not easy.
They're not going to play at 8 o'clock in the night for us, are they? Just because
it's not easy for us to watch. That's my. I kind of wish it was slightly bigger, so they could make it like easily watchable.
I don't know about doing it in a weekend. It'd be much nicer on a weekend.
Yeah, it'd be much better rather than a bloody Wednesday evening. But no, awesome.
Next question.
I am back in Queensland too.
Back in Queensland. Next question is from Vinny, saying, more disappointing Big Bash attendance news earlier this week. Should it be binned with Magic? So I think it was 7,000. or something like that.
Just under 7, I think. It was in York. They usually have it in Blackpool, but last year they had it at Headingley, and I think Headingley got 11, 12,
Headingley. They normally
10.
used to get 15.
Yeah.
I don't think York was a bad venue. Easy to get to,
Mhm.
or fairly easy to get to with the trains, and on the
Plenty
road.
around it.
Nice
Yeah.
little tidy stadium
Yeah.
as well. But to be honest with you, I think the problem lies at the promotion of it.
Mm.
I thought the promotion of the actual weekend was poor.
Mm.
It certainly needs a rethink, and if that rethink is, look, let's just go back to what was good, which was Blackpool, then
Yeah.
do it. People seem to love Blackpool when they did it.
Yep, it had its home, especially this time of year, May half term, kids off, Blackpool. It went hand in hand. One thing that I am, as always, disappointed with is the TV coverage. I think it's
Only 2 of the games are on. I just felt that that's an opportunity for Sky just to put it on Sky Sports Mix for the day.
Sky Sport Mix, or is it Viaplay?
Viaplay did 2 of the games, but their fixtures were better than Magic. I.e., it was Whitehaven Barrow, it was Keighley Bradford. They put on proper derby games and proper contests, unlike the Magic this weekend. So I feel like they have missed a trick with promotion and publicity.
And I feel like for Viaplay especially, that to me would be the perfect time to advertise Championship Rugby League, and I'd have that at least one of the days on free to air. This is what we've got. This is what we show. What is it, every Monday? Come and join us, and like you say, offer it on Sky Sports Mix, or if it's Viaplay, and push it, or even maybe Channel 4 and pick the game. I don't know. I just feel that, especially the Championship, is there much money in it? Would much people really been subscribing to watch it on? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm overthinking it, but to me that would be a good freebie. And even in a sense that if it's in Blackpool and it's the bank holiday weekend and half term, etc., people could watch it and think, there might even be a Leeds fan and watch it. Oh, I might go there next year. Looks really fun, and I don't know, but should definitely stay in the calendar. But I think I agree with Reese. It's found its home. Blackpool is its home. It should stay there.
On to the Twitter questions now.
Yep.
And Laurie's done his usual 3 questions.
He's a good lad.
Do you want to do them or shall I do them?
Go ahead.
So the first question is, what is the perfect summer drink? Now, I know why Laurie's asking this question.
I do.
Because of this blood orange cider that he's been having at the Original Oak that he won't bloody shut up about.
Yeah.
So, is it the Thatcher's one?
Mm-hmm.
I bought them for Ness.
It is. You'll have to try. Have you tried one?
I have tried it, yeah. He made me try it on the cast game because he wouldn't shut up about it. But do you have a perfect summer drink?
Yes, I do. Old Jamaica ginger beer. Perfect.
Fair enough.
Nice. I love ginger. But, and I don't know, it just says summer, especially with ice, in a glass with ice. Very, very sweet. There's a farm shop by us. They do. I don't know if they brew it or buy it, but their ginger beer is amazing. But I can't remember the name of it. Ginger beer and ice.
Have you had Bundaberg ginger beer?
Is it what?
Have you had Bundaberg, the ginger beer? Yeah, that is bloody good as well.
That's really nice. I'm a big fan of root beer as well.
I think for me, it can be quite simple in a nice, cold, crisp pint of lager. I'm not going to lie.
Can't beat it.
I mean, again, one of my favourite beers is Pinata, which is one by North Brew, and that's quite a nice fruity beer. But yeah, just really nice, ice cold. You know when? I know you don't drink, but if you go to some pubs, I think that do Veltins, they do it in the glass that's frozen. So they put the glass in the freezer and they put the pints. That is the perfect summer drink.
Do you know something that I miss? Probably not the right word, but alcohol adverts. Now, there used to be adverts like you're talking about a crisp drink, there'd be and it just
But the whole Carlsberg thing. If Carlsberg did weekends and stuff like that, it was one of the most iconic, one of the more iconic advertising lines, wasn't it?
And those WKD adverts and the John Smith's ones with
Peter Kay, the John Smith's ones, the advert one.
There used to be adverts. Used to be good, kids. You'd actually go to school or work after watching telly all night. So you only had 5 channels, 6 if you were lucky, And people would genuinely talk about adverts and say, "Seen that new John Smith's advert?"
Oh dear.
Certainly.
Laurie's second question is: which Rhinos player do you think would be the worst at karaoke?
I don't see David Fussy Tour. I don't think he'd do it. I think he'd be like, "No, I'm not doing it." And I don't know why. That's just how I gauge him. But if Fussy wouldn't do it, who'd be the worst? I'm
I feel
gonna
like
say,
Dono. I feel like Dono will be the dark horse in this. I don't
yeah,
know
I do.
why.
I think like Dono and Aledzki. But then for whatever reason, I feel like Tom Allroyd could blast out an 80s power ballad. You know, I wanna know what love is.
I could see it. I could see it.
I
You might be right, actually.
kind of like in that. I said Fussy Tour just would refuse to do it. I think Allroyd would be like, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." Then he'd get like 5
Yeah.
pints and say, "No, I'm not doing it. I wanna know," and let him blast out like a, and they'd be like, "Whoa, what? He's got a right voice." Yeah.
I actually think the worst one could be Cammy.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, its voice is quite hoarse, isn't it? In
What do you think he'd
deep.
sing?
I
I think
don't
he'd
know why
sing
I've got
something.
stereophonics in my head, but I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Handbags and the glad rags.
Yeah, maybe
He's
that.
got a voice similar to Kelly Jones, I bet.
That's what probably made me think of it, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going to say Cam Smith, Laurie.
I think Tom Allroyd would be the best.
And then finally, which Lot Pod associate is the worst influence?
Is he getting on to? Is he kind of leading into yours and his drinking day the other day there?
Yeah, I'm going to say Laurie, but
yeah, because when I saw Laurie on Friday, he was saying that you were the bad influence, and then when I saw you, you were saying that he was the bad influence.
Yeah, Laurie. It's quite easy.
For those that aren't aware now, recent Laurie got absolutely hammered after the Wigan Cup game.
During, before, after.
In Headingley Club?
Yeah, Headingley Club, yeah. Went to the original Oak, I had quite a few at the ground, and then went to the Headingley Club, whatever you call it, yeah. Next question, South Stander Luke has asked, would an annual Super League 13 versus an NRL 13 exhibition match raise the profile of the game?
Yes. Absolutely. You know where they should play it, Luke? America. You know, like the NRL, are they taking...
They're doing Vegas, aren't they?
Yeah, they're taking a game, or is it Origin? They're doing something out in Vegas. This is the type of... Because the Americans love that circus type all-star. They do it in everything, don't they? NBA, NFL...
Yeah, they do the old like
basketball.
NFL. They'll do the AFC versus the NFC. So
and it's a big deal. Am I right in saying it's like he's been selected for 5?
Yeah, for the Pro Bowl, he's selected for it. Yeah, but the game it's too much of an exhibition. It's a bit crap, to be honest. But to say you've been selected for the Pro Bowl is quite a big thing. But to be honest, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like the idea. Is not for me. One, the NRL just won't do it. For one, and two, would teams get behind it? When would you play it? I don't know. I don't think it's the right thing. I don't think it's the right thing to promote the game. It might be an interim way of making the international game better, but I just don't think it's the answer to help rugby league personally.
Well, I'm a fan of it. I am. Get it out in, as long as it's in America, because I think that's something that could attract them if it's like the best, even if it is the NRL side smashing the Super League side. I think it's a good idea. Do you want me to do the next one? Are you going to finish these?
I'll finish off Luke. So the next question from Luke is, you can do David's next. Who has got the most slappable face in rugby league?
Johnny Lomax, that's next. Some of these questions are a bit loaded, aren't
they? Yeah, they are a bit. I'm going to say Jake Connor, to be honest.
Jake Connor, yeah. If you ask Jono from the amazing Red Robin podcast, he'd say Jake Connor. Lomax, who would I have said if it's not Johnny Lomax? Jack Wellesby. Who else can't I stand? Matt Percival. Morgan Knowles. He deserves one. Just on this, I did kind of say on the match review panel on McDonald, going back again to Lomax and McDonald, that I said if no punches have been thrown and he doesn't get the ban, then James McDonald the next time we play Saints, is free to smack Johnny Lomax square on the end of his nose. Easy.
And the final question from Luke is: any plans for a Lot Pod meetup at Magic Weekend?
This is the question for you, Reese.
It is. Is it? Oh yeah. Well, because you're not coming anymore.
So I'm not going.
No, not at the moment, because I was going to do it with Laurie, but Laurie's struggling. He's going to make it there, but we won't be there for the whole day. So I'm going up on the bus as well. So I don't know what time I'm going to get there, or else I don't know what time where we're going. So I think this year we'll probably give it a miss. It sounds like it's coming back next year anyway. But yeah, unfortunately, no Lot Pod meetup. But I will probably just put a message where I am if anyone wants to come join us at some point in Newcastle. I'll be in a pub somewhere.
There you go. It's I wasn't going, and then I was going, and now I'm not going. David asks, after the Rhinos, who has the best 2023 Magic kit? I am going to be honest, I can't remember any other Magic kits for any other sides. Can you, Reese?
Well, I'm just looking at an article to have a look at this, and unfortunately, loads of them, because it's I can't look at it because of Twitter for some stupid reason. So I don't really know. Let's see if I can just find another one. To be honest, because one that I did think was quite nice. There we go. Let me share this on the page now so we can see this.
Is this the Love Rugby League article?
Yeah. So we've got Saints. Saints that have gone. Saints have gone back to their original old kit, which, to be honest, I actually quite like, except the big sponsor badge, which I think is quite
vile.
rubbish, but...
Absolutely vile.
It looks a bit like a Canterbury, New South Wales kit, doesn't it? Yeah. Sorry, not Canterbury, Queensland. There's our shirt, obviously. There's that horrible thing from the Giants, which seems to be just black with a bit of pink on it.
Yeah.
Salford have gone
Cass.
Yeah, they've gone Cass, haven't they? They've gone black with yellow.
I would have morphed into Cass there.
Black with yellow sleeves, with the most biggest Selco badge I've ever seen in my life. Hull, I've got their third kit, which is the bus seat kit.
The fairground one. I do like that.
Wigan have gone for their
our away kit.
Our turquoise kit, yeah. Warrington, did they change their badge for this?
Yes, they've gone to an
This is the 92-93 kit from Warrington.
They've gone retro, which is a very good idea for.
Yeah.
I do like that Lee kit.
I'm not quite sure what Lee have done, but if anyone remembers Art Attack, that's roughly what
for autism awareness, I believe.
Is it?
If I remember right.
Oh, it is for autism awareness, yeah. So the shirt's got jigsaw pieces, all the different sort of colours, so really good colour. Still got the leopard on it, but very different.
Yeah, the leopard kind of spoils it.
And Cass have got a bit more of a traditional, but it's paying homage to their legendary player Tareera Nakao.
Yeah, they've gone a bit retro as well, which again, fair play to Cass. It is a good idea to go retro.
And then Wakefield have gone with a grey kit with a blue V. So any favourites on there?
I am a fan, as I've said before, of that third Hull kit. I do think that's, as we've always said, that Magic /third kit is for something crazy, so I do like that. But I'm probably going to say the Lee kit, because I do like the retro stuff. I always will. But along with Leeds and maybe another club I've missed, I do feel like the charity aspect really hits home for me. And yeah, I think autism awareness is something that needs highlighting. So I'm going to say that Lee kit. Although I do think if that leopard was removed, it's a much better shirt.
I like, a bit like you. I really like the League one because obviously the association with the charity and the autism awareness. But I actually think for style, I think Wakefield have knocked it out of the park again. They've topped the league in one thing this year, which is kit design.
Kit design.
So yeah,
and we always say that Wakey have actually got the best Leeds shirt. Oh no, they haven't now. Leeds Rhinos women have the best Leeds shirt.
They do.
Next question from David. Who was your first celebrity crush? And David says, mine was Jet from Gladiators. I do remember Jet from Gladiators. I do. Who was your first celebrity crush, Reese?
Was a big fan of Doctor Who as a kid.
Billy Piper.
Billy Piper, yeah.
Billy Piper. Wow. I remember when she was a pop star. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
so that came out, 2005, so I'd have been 10, 11, so probably Billy Piper.
10 in 2005. Did you hear that?
11. I'd have been 11.
11 in 2005. Wow.
Yeah, it's a big Doctor Who fan, so I think that probably.
Who was my first celebrity crush? Probably Yestin Harris. I think I was infatuated, as I've said once or twice on here. Absolutely loved Yestin. When he left, I was heartbroken. First celebrity, I don't know, probably one of the Spice Girls. Remember that, 95? Probably Baby Spice. I don't know, David. Lightning on Gladiator, she was nice. Yeah, Lightning. I'll stick with the Gladiator theme, Lightning. Third question from David.
Oh, hang on. I've just had a live message from Laurie to say his first celebrity crush was Ariel from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that don't surprise me. Laurie choosing a cartoon.
Not that we know what Laurie gets up to.
We've all got our niches. Third question from Dave. What do you have on your chips from the chippy? Curry peas or gravy?
Curry
now,
sauce.
Sometimes you can go and they'll do like curry, but then they'll do Chinese curry, which has like
and there's Irish curry as well and all whatever.
Yeah. Are you particular to any particular curry?
Chip shop curry sauce. It's a standard chip shop curry sauce.
It's gravy is the correct answer.
It's not.
Being thoroughly northern and Yorkshire and Leeds, it has to be gravy. But gravy has to be thick in consistency. You just cannot have watery gravy because that's just water. It has to be of a
KFC
thick
nailed gravy, I think.
Yes. Agreed.
And the final questions have come from Sam. So a question we've been asked a bit before, but if Austin and Caesar both moved on in the summer, who would you want to replace them? I suppose a realistic response or non-realistic response. You can choose whoever you want.
Cleary Munster. That was easy.
Cleary Munster. Yeah.
Realistically, I'm kind of thinking about this question earlier, knowing that it was coming up. I genuinely can't. It just seems such a tough market for halves. I think it always is for halves, in particular, but I do still feel it's one of those where the longer Luke Brooks doesn't sign for the West Tigers, the more I believe he'll come to us. Simply because the abuse, to be fair, that he's had over in the NRL for 18 months, 2 years has been diabolical. And I think him, his family, his friends will look at it and think, I need a break. Not from the Tigers, from the NRL, from this whole circus.
Maybe.
Again, just me putting two and two together. But the longer it goes with him becoming a free agent, I feel he would be available. And if he's available, then he just becomes our marquee. You kick Tavano out and you bring Brooks in. Other than that, I don't know. There are a few.
It's Kyle Flanagan, isn't there? Potentially.
Yeah, there's a few like Flanagan flirting. There's a few that are off contract, but it's a risk. But as I've said before, a risk worth taking. I would rather both Austin and Caesar leave, and we take a gamble with two younger NRL halves, and you hope that you get a Jake Clifford than either of those. I'd rather take a gamble on two fresh halves coming in because I've seen enough of Austin and Caesar to say no, not for me. What do you think?
It's really difficult because if I've been unrealistic, I just go say, right, give me one of Jordan Abdul or Mikey Lewis, and we'll bring Luke Brooks in as well.
Yeah.
But then, is it more realistic to think about Cal Flanagan and Sinfield, or I won't be surprised to see Myler move there next year, to be honest. So my realistic thing is I'd actually keep Austin for another year. I think he's earned another year. I think he's played well this year. He's been the better of the two. And give another year of Sinfield just to get bigger and stronger and learn the game a bit more, the adult game, to give him a season the year after. So to be honest, I'd probably go Austin and Carl Flanagan, and to give Sinfield a year to grow a bit more.
Another one. Yeah, agreed.
And the final question from Sam is, what's the best sporting match you've been to excluding these Rhinos?
I've mentioned this before. I've done a lot of mentioning before tonight. Leeds United versus AC Milan in the Champions League, Ellen Road, when Lee Boy scored. Hit a shot. I've said all this before. Sailed it down. Biblical rain. Lee Boyer, late in the game, hit a shot from miles out, straight at Dida, the keeper, who fumbled it, went over the line, and I was just in pure ecstasy because I must have been about 2001, 2002, 15, 16, and I just thought, we're going to win the league. We're going to win the Champions League. This is the new Leeds United. We're going up. It's all plain sailing from here and potential sky high. But without a doubt, the highlight for me, probably be the highlight. I very, very, very vaguely remember us winning the league in '92. Must have been about 6. Didn't know much about it, but I knew we'd won the league. But that's probably the highlight of my whole Leeds United career, will be that Champions League run. What's yours, Reese?
There's a couple. I'm sad to say there's 2 rugby union games in there. When I went to go see Wales play England at Cardiff, and Cardiff is just special on Six Nations Day. So I think there was more Wales lost in the last minute actually with an Elliot Daly try. But the actual day, the atmosphere, everything was just awesome with my dad. So say that's one. I actually say the Roses match last year where it was a draw at Old Trafford. That was great fun. Absolutely great game of cricket. Another rugby union one when Leeds Tykes won the Power Cup final in 2005 when they beat Bath. Complete
Leeds
underdogs.
Tykes.
Yeah, that was a complete underdog story. I mean, they've been relegated again, by the way. I think they're in the 3rd or 4th tier rugby union.
Oh my god.
So yeah, they're probably the most special sporting matches that are not Rhinos, to be fair, I think, for me, that I've been to.
We don't hate rugby union, Reese. You don't have to shy away from it. Some of the listeners
I like it. I like the fact I like both because it means on every weekend I can watch NRL and Super Rugby. So
exactly. So that's the end of the questions. That's the end of the mailbag. I promise, cross my heart and I hope today, we will do the kits that you've all sent in very kindly to us, all your designs. We'll get them up on our YouTube channel. We'll have another guest with us and we'll choose a winner. So thank you for submitting those. If you do want to submit one, just design a shirt online, Photoshop, online editor, whatever you want to use. Email it over to lot17@outlook.com. We're going to get all them together and we'll do them on the next mailbag, I promise. So that's the mailbag, Reese. But the moment everyone's been waiting for, we've made them wait almost an hour. Who is the winner and how are we deciding the winner of this amazing 2023 Magic Weekend shirt? The wheel is back. The wheel
is back. So I've put all these slot numbers in. So just a reminder again, it was £2.50 a slot. People could enter as many times as you did. The highest was from a gentleman called Sam who entered 8 times. So big thank you to him. £250 has been raised in total. 125 of that goes to the Rob Burrows Centre for MND. Another 125 goes to the My Name is Doddy Foundation. When I announce the winner, I'll get in touch, work out what shirt you want, and then I need to send it to Rhinos to get it signed. So hopefully I can get it to Super Magic Weekend if you're going. If not, I'll let you know. But I have test ran this, and me and ID did not win it. So let's see what happens. So for those listening to Spotify, the wheel is going round. It is slowing down. It's creeping past 59, 60, 62, 63. So number 63. And that was Tom Colton. So well done, Tom Colton. I will send you a message. You have won the signed Magic Weekend jersey.
Congratulations, Tom. Well done, Reese, for donating the shirt. Well done, Reese, for designing the shirt. It was your idea. That's a hill I'll die on. Thank you to everybody that submitted that contributed, that bought some numbers. Thank you to Reese for running it. Thank you to Kevin, to Laurie, to Phil Daly, to the club. It's been a great giveaway. We do plan on having some more giveaways along the way, especially for charities, to try and raise some more money for those charities that are dear and close to our heart. That's the mailbag for this week off the back of Leeds losing to Saints. Myself, Reese, and another one of our Lot Pod squad regulars, we will be back on Sunday, shall we say? Fancy doing it again?
Yeah, can we not do Saturday night because I'll be back in a bus and I may have had
15 beers.
4 too many beers. So
we'll be back
Sunday.
on Sunday live on YouTube. If you are listening to this on Spotify or iTunes or however you listen to these podcasts, we do stream our match review panels live on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it live or watch it back along with all of our specials and all of our special guests. If you just search the Lot Pod on YouTube, you can subscribe to us there, hit that notification bell and give us a like. It'll tell you when all of our live streams are coming up. Thank you, Reese. As always, thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for watching the live stream, for engaging with us. We will be back on Sunday to review the Magic Weekend game. Everybody, enjoy Magic Weekend. Drink responsibly. Have a great day up in Newcastle. And I'm talking to Reese here.
Yeah, I thought you were.
Drink responsibly. And we'll see you for the match review panel. Take care.
See you later.